these books are just vibes, you know. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to be basically bearing my soul and sharing with you some books which feel like a hug, but also can be a punch in your gut if this is not your vibe. So after reading a lot of just light and funny and YA books, I was really basically I wanted to go into another rabbit hole because I was out of whatever rabbit hole I was in before that. So for that I was looking for recommendations, and I just wanted to find books that would make me feel similar emotions as to what I feel when I read anything written by Sally Rooney. So that is how I embarked on this very dark journey. Okay, so I'm gonna dive in slow and then we'll get into the more darker stuff. So first I want to start with Yellowface. This book is about a protagonist who steals her dead friend's work and she poses it as her work and she publishes it as her work, and she's earning money off of it, like she's making like big money from it. And this just follows that, and obviously things are gonna unravel and people are gonna find out and how that story goes. It's all that this is about. This kind of is like Taylor Swift's anti-hero song. Like you're following this girl and she's doing everything wrong. Okay, she is not even in the morally gray area, she is in the completely dark area, and she's trying to justify her every action, and it kind of feels like you're reading somebody's diary. And then, you know, when you do something bad or if you have some weird emotions, you write it down and you try to make sense out of it. So she's also basically doing that. She's just writing and she's justifying it to herself that this is the right move. And it was a very funny and a very light read, I would say, if you're okay reading about somebody who doesn't do everything right. So this is the first book that I would like to go with in this list of books. From here, all the books that I'm going to go in are, the plot is not the main seller of the story. These books are just vibes, you know. It's just the characters are so well written. They're real three-dimensional characters rather than just being something that you read about in children's books that right is right and wrong is wrong. It's not like that. Alright. Next is this Lie With Me by Philippe Besson. It's actually translated from what language? I don't know. Oh, French. It's translated from French. I'm just gonna cut that out. Okay, so this also feels like you're reading a diary. It's set in really old times. It's, I think, 1950s or 1940s is when this book is set in. This is a love story about two guys, and obviously homosexuality was not well accepted. It's basically following this protagonist who meets this guy, and it's their story of how they had to hide and how they were never really truthful to their emotions and truthful to their reality. And it's a very short book, it's a quick read. The level of emotions that they feel, the depth in that relationship, is what really stood out. And it is a sad book. It doesn't have a happy ending. I mean, disclaimer, none of these books I guess you would call as a happy ending. So this was the second book. So the next book is not really a fiction. It's I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's a Japanese dish. I don't know how to pronounce it. Shit. It's a Let's do that again. Next book is called I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. It's a Korean dish. And this book basically are just chapters of the protagonist going to various therapy sessions and talking to her therapist about whatever she's going through. And I just feel that it was this book, actually, I think I would say that it's not it in any situation this cannot be a punch in your gut, because it's a very warm story. You could relate to it if you have gone through feeling similar to depression or anxiety. You would relate to what the protagonist is also going through, and the therapy sessions also really help. And at the end, what I liked was that there was a note from the therapist that's included in the book, and she admitted that going back and reading like what she's told this girl in the therapy sessions, it's not always good advice, but you know, it just shows that, it just goes to shows that everybody is human. So it's a very real exchange between two humans is what I felt like. And the therapist was also actually really good. Like, I wish I had like this therapist. So this is another book. This, I think you can just read. This does not feel this in no way is going to feel like a punch, unless you're uncomfortable about reading such emotions, because they're described explicitly. Now the last 4 books I have here, and there are 2 more which I don't have the physical copy for, but these books are just winners for me, and there is just no way that I can rank them. The next book, Writers and Lovers by Lily King, is a book that I picked up when I was looking for writing similar to Sally Rooney, and this book basically did deliver on that. It's again, you follow one protagonist who is trying to make a living out of writing. She is trying to write a book for the last 6 years, but she's just not able to get through to it. Everything that you think like you go through, like this character goes through. So this one does have a happy ending. It like does that full circle thing at the end. All of these books that I've mentioned, most of the times you're not in what's happening around the character, like you're in their head. So they're just, if they're in one situation and there's like 10 things like going on around them, they'll be like thinking 20 things in their head. Like it's like that. So I just feel I kind of enjoy that kind of writing. You get to know that other people also, you know, go through similar things as you. If somebody's written about these characters, it's real. So for me, that's what the hug part is for these books. So if you enjoyed Sally Rooney's writing, you would enjoy this book as well. Really good. Next book is one of my favorites. It's, first of all, the cover. Look at the cover. It's so pretty. It's called Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. What can I say about this book? It's, oh my, it's so good. It's, this book, I just feel like I'm not gonna do justice. Like if you have to like get one like book out of like everything that I tell you, it should be this, and Sally Rooney's is given, but this book, oh my god, this is the first book by Coco Mellors, and it was so good. I'm just going to read, I think, some review just to sell it to you, because I'm not gonna do justice. Tender, devastating and funny, Coco Mellors is an elegant and exciting new voice. Okay, that doesn't say much. Yes, Mellors has written a devastatingly human book at turns sharp and tender that marks her as the rare writer whose sentences are as beautiful as they are wise and unforgettable read. This is exactly what this book is. It follows a 23 or 24-year-old girl, and she gets married to an older guy, and she enters a completely new circle of these rich people. She's struggling a lot. She has a lot of mental issues, and she's going through all of that, and how that defines the relationships around her, how she comes out of it. This also has a sort of happy ending, but it's not a conventional happy ending. It's just very beautifully written. I think if you start reading it, I don't think you would care much for the plot, because without a plot, it is a page turner, and I think that just like says a lot about this. But if you've not read this, run and get this book. Next book, it's called Emily, or it's by Emily Austen, and it's called Everybody in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. And it is exactly what it says. This book is 258 pages, and 258 pages are about death. This was a very very sad book. If you're I wish somebody had given me some sort of warning like for this book. I don't know, I don't even remember how I found it, but oh my god, it talks about death. That's given. But this book entirely happens in the protagonist's mind. Like, she is going through life just thinking about death. She is having panic attacks, she's having anxiety, she has depression, she is living in a very dirty house or room. She doesn't have the energy to clean it, and a lot of the things that happen, even when she's interacting with somebody, you hear those interactions, but the way that it's described is in her head something else is happening. Let's say A is happening in front of her, and she'll be thinking about Z. So it's like that. But I just feel it is a good book, but don't pick it up if you're in like a bad state mentally, because this book is not gonna help that at all. But it is again a really good book that for me, which felt again like a hug, because I could relate a lot to the character, because I also go into this rabbit hole thinking what is the meaning of life, everybody's just gonna die someday, and you know, all of that. So I did go into that again when I was reading this book, and it was a little difficult to come out of it, and I don't think I've entirely come out of it, because I just finished this book I think 2 weeks back, or maybe a week back. I mean, people have called it laugh out loud funny. It can be funny as well if you don't entirely relate to what she's going through. I think it can be funny from a third perspective, but I was like so invested in the protagonist, I was so into her head, that for me it just felt too real to feel funny. The best for the last are the books by Sally Rooney. Right now I only have the physical copy of Conversation with Friends, but I've read Normal People and I've read Beautiful World, Where Are You? So the order that the books were released in was first came out Conversation with Friends, then Normal People, and then Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I, for some reason, was a complete dumbfuck, because I had no idea about these books. I mean, I had seen these books and people raving about these books, but for some reason I just didn't feel like I would enjoy it, and I don't think I would have also enjoyed it at that time if I would have read it. I'm glad I discovered it later, whenever I did. So they were released in this order, and I read it in the opposite order. So first I read Beautiful World, Where Are You? Then I read Normal People, and then I read Conversation with Friends. So I read Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I was just so taken in by it. I think I read it last year, and then I wanted to read other books as well, because I was like, I want more of this writing, I want more of the kind of characters that she writes about. I wanted to read more about that. And last year I picked up Normal People from a bookstore, because I was not able to find anything in that. So when I go to a bookstore, I have to get at least one book. So I could not find anything there, so I was like, okay, let me get Normal People. That's like a book that I know about, that's a writer I know about. It can't be that bad. And then I read Normal People, and it was nice. I'm not saying it was not good, it was nice, but it was not as good as Beautiful World, Where Are You? Or maybe, I don't know, it was even sadder than Beautiful World, Where Are You, I feel. And Beautiful World, Where Are You is a sad book. But Normal People, or maybe I was also in a weird mental state at that time. Maybe I just couldn't like properly process the book, but I did not enjoy that book as much as I thought I would. And then I tried to watch the series as well, but I just couldn't like get into that. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna read Conversation with Friends because I don't want to be disappointed any further. But then again, earlier this year I was in a bookstore and I couldn't find anything, and I saw Conversation with Friends there, just sitting. This was the last copy that they had, and I think it being a last copy is what is a huge like selling point as well. I was like, I have to get it. Like, I don't know like if I will get anything or not. And I was also at that time I had read by that time I had read this Cleopatra and Frankenstein, and this came very close to the kind of writing that I wanted to read. Thank God that I did, because I loved this book. I loved it so much. This is about a girl. This follows the life of a girl called Frances, who is friends with this other girl, Bobby, who were in a relationship like in college or like the start of college, but they're not together anymore. They're just friends, and they meet this couple, Melissa and Nick. Nick is an actor, and Melissa is like like a journalist. And she wants to do a piece on Frances and Bobby, because they do what is it called? They do spoken word, and it's mostly written by Frances, but Bobby is the person who delivers it like really well. She's really well at those kind of things. So she is the one who is also with her on the stage, and then they enter their life, and you know, we just follow them from there. What I like about Sally Rooney's books is that there's not a defining moment that happens when the book starts. You know, usually in books, like either the protagonist would have lost a family member, or they would be moving places, or they would be going through a breakup, or they would enter in a new relationship, something like that. And then the story would like be centered around it. The plot would be centered around it, and you would follow them, and then it would start from one point, and then it'll go up, and then it'll come down to a happy ending. But Sally Rooney's books, the best part I feel about them is that you just enter the characters' lives on like a random day. You know how you see those reels like you got graduated on a random Tuesday? It's like that. You just enter their lives on a random Tuesday, and you just like take off with them. And then at the end, there's not like a conventional happy ending, or the book does not do like a full circle when it ends. The ending is very realistic. It's something that would happen in anybody's life. So I just feel like the writing is just so brilliant. It's just so brilliantly written. And this one booktuber that I follow, Jack Edwards, he said this one line about Sally Rooney, that even if she publishes her grocery list, like people are gonna buy it. And I completely I second that. Like if she does that, I'm probably gonna buy it, because it won't just be the names of the things she wants to buy. It'll be some like I don't know what's in those books. It's like some magic sorcery happening, but yeah. But then her books again, like they feel like a hug, because they're so real. And this is the kind of writing I enjoy. It's very profound, it's very real. And so these were my, how many recommended? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9 books that for me felt like a hug. I have actually also ordered a couple of books that are very close to this sort of writing, so I'm yet to get them, so I will read them and then see, and maybe then review it as well. Not that I am a very qualified reviewer. My current read is The Catcher in the Rye, and I think I saw it on BuzzFeed, or I saw some article somewhere that said that if you like this book, you're a red flag. And I'm 50 pages into this book and I don't hate it, so. But this is also a nice book. So that is it for my book recommendations. If you enjoyed it, please let me know, because I won't know if you don't tell me. And if you have any recommendations for me, I would love that. Please let me know if you have read any books that are anyway similar to the books that I just told you about. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.